I'm not where I want to be, but I'm in what was once a dream. So if I do some quick math, the future equals a dream come true. Since 1992, In All Honesty, a podcast by OLAVEORAWO.
Hello and welcome to the most colorful episode of the season. This is the In All Honesty podcast and my fabulous name is OLAVEORAWO, and today we are exploring queer love, and with me in studio are very beautiful, colorful people. And thank you guys for coming. Thank you so much. We can start as usual with introducing yourself as you'd like to be known. Yeah, that's as simple as that.
Thank you for having us here.
Yeah.
My name is Purbple Diva and I am very excited to dive in.
Okay, thank you.
Hey everybody,
President
I'm back again. Of course, my name is still Mpesa.
Yeah.
You're very raging homosexual and I'm happy to be here today, and happy Pride Month to every homosexual out there we are representing today.
Juliana Muzima.
Happy Pride Month to you too.
Okay, so as usual, I do put out a prompt on my socials, and I get people to send in their opinions and their experiences, and then I read them out, and that becomes our talking point. So basically just guides the conversation. So I'll start out with our prompts. Today, the queer men are not here, but they did send in emails. So we'll get to them. But for the prompt that I put out on my socials, I said, what's something you had to learn in relationships as a queer person? So the first person here said, 90% of the population would prefer you stay in the closet. It's hard to openly share your affection while outdoors. Yes, this one we all know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we just learned, last week I just learned that PDA is illegal.
I saw that too.
See, this is why I have a problem with straight people.
Oh, you guys knew?
They don't be thinking that the law is coming for them. They don't be thinking that the law is coming for them, and there's a lot of double standard with how laws are implemented. Because
That's true.
then for queer people, even straight people will tell on you. But then for straight people, yani you people never think that we don't like you because your PDA is gross.
Yes,
it grosses
true.
us out too, because like, why are you over there caressing this muscular human being? And boobies are just passing over there. Please. Please.
So PDA is...
Yeah.
I saw that on a small video that was talking about 5 weird laws we have in Kenya.
Yes.
The PDA one was weird because
Yeah.
I mean it's people loving each other. Why is that anyone's business?
Me, I learned it from a girl who got arrested, the Nakuru girl.
Yeah, the story you were telling.
Yes,
the
they were
TikTok
holding
image.
hands. And then police wakakuja too and they carried them.
Yeah, and her man's went.
I heard they paid 10K for bail.
Nobody is safe, is what we are trying to tell you. Reject finance bill. Reject. No, we
Yeah,
are still
apparently
not
that
yet
was the
done.
second
We still
reading.
have the final reading before they are sent, and it's a process. We still have a chance.
Yeah, we
guys.
still have a chance.
If we actually unalive most of those who voted yes,
Well, one of them is my cousin.
it doesn't matter.
Give
If
us
your
an-
cousin cancel them. We shall
I've
find
seen Twitter,
them.
you're giving names and
shall
numbers.
find them.
They're given greetings.
And if we find-
Season's
If we
greetings.
find 50% of those people, it will be over.
It's
We will
over.
win.
But I'm thinking there is a better way we could do it instead of analyzing them.
No, we can get rid
There's
of
no
people
better
who
way.
are not serving this country. Like, come on now. See, they wanted to kill us on the streets.
What
We
if-
might as well.
What if they get replaced by an even bad person?
No, but this will be new. We will plant them there. We now know better. All Gen Zs will vote.
And
have you seen the Gen Zs? And me, the newly...
That's true. I hope people don't forget
the
to
newly
vote.
recruited Gen Z. Me, I'm a millennial, but I've been recruited.
I identify as Gen Z.
I'm a millennial who identifies as a Gen Z.
What's that email?
Please.
Yeah? Was that email? Have you read
Oh, the prompt.
Yeah, that was
90% of the population would prefer you stay in the closet. It's hard to openly share your affection while outdoors. Is that something you guys experience?
All the time. I mean, there's no real way. Even for me, like for example, a person who is very out of the closet, I still have to be very cautious where I am with my partner, what I do with my partner when we're there, or just anyone, because even my friends, I have to protect them. And as a person who is very overly affectionate, even with my friends, I'm like, we are talking, I want to hug my friends, I want to hold their hands, it's very scary, because as a queer person, it's easy, especially if, for example, my friends are not necessarily queer, it's easy for it to be misinterpreted as though they're queer.
That's very true.
And then even if they're queer, it's easy for it to be taken out of context and for people to assume that we are together and all that kind of stuff. So you don't want any of that. And it's such a sad way to
So you're constantly protecting people around you.
You're constantly guarded. The minute you step out of your house, you're guarded. Anything that happens, you have to worry, how are people perceiving everything that is going on here, and what could be the possible implications of that. Yeah.
I think I worry more depending with where I am in the town. Because there are sides you are and you're like, it's a little bit safer, like the upper sides of town. But
Uptown,
like if you're downtown, there's the fear that you don't know who is walking around you, you don't know which insult will be hurled, and especially if you're working with a masculine presenting person, there is fear that there'll always be something coming your way. And as they say, it's really hard when you're someone who holds your person's hand when you're crossing the road or something like that, and you don't know who will say what or when. The fear will always be there, sadly. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know whether it's the homophobic nature that we have in the country, but even not being able to, okay, in my experience, which is wild because I'm not even queer, in my experience, I once worked at a place where because they did not know anything about my love life, it was rumored that I am a lesbian. And for that reason, it was just weird in the office, and there was always rumors and mamas going around.
Gossip when you pass.
Yes, it's constant gossip. Yeah. And there's things that were said that were completely out of hand, and some are said to your face, and there's nothing you can do, because if we all went, like even the manager was calling people to the office to ask them what my sexual orientation is. Mark you, I've not told anyone anything. I'm just not dating, and I'm just not talking about it.
Can I vent about something a little bit?
Yeah.
And this, I'm blaming boomers. Boomers, you really did a number on us. There's this culture, it's very unspoken about, but it's a very toxic culture. It's a culture in the workspace. There's a culture of women who work in any workspace have to have sexual relations with the men in the workspace to prove that they're actually straight or whatever, right? This culture has been going on for so long, and it's affecting a lot of queer people. Because a lot of queer people, I know queer people who are in political positions and are having to constantly hassle people because apparently waheshimiwa hawajampitia. And it's such a sad culture, because that is the culture that is leading to blackmail for queer people. Because now, if you're a queer person, of course, first of all, you have no interest in having sex with anyone in the office or otherwise, right? But also second, because of that, you're constantly attracting these conversations around who is your partner and all that kind of stuff. Now, it could be anything and nothing all at once, because while all this is happening, these people begin to, ostracize you when you're at your place of work. They make your working environment very uncomfortable.
Oh, it was bad.
You want to continue working, but you wonder, how am I supposed to work in an environment where I'm always left out because of who I am? People interact with you in very weird ways.
And it's like you are a leper.
Yes.
It's almost as if you have sores on your body.
Sores, but also sores.
It's like it's
sores
contagious.
Publicly, but also privately. People are harassing you because a lot of queer people also are experiencing a lot of sexual harassment.
That's true.
And they can't speak about it because when they speak about it, it's always one person against everyone else in the office, and everyone will defend the men, but and also the people who are harassing them because. Why? What do you mean you were touched inappropriately? We are always being touched inappropriately here. What do you mean is a problem? It's a problem for you.
What
And
is
all
so unique
that.
about you?
Yes. And a lot of queer people are going through this. This is why a lot of queer people would think so much before they get employment, especially employment that is in alignment with what they studied and all that kind of stuff, because they're scared. Nitakuja kwa ofisi. Labda mimi I'm a professional what? Which jobs are?
Accountant.
A good job.
You're in corporate.
Yeah, let's say for example you're in corporate or you work in government institutions and all that kind of stuff. There's constant worry because people are always gonna question, because people somehow when people see you, they've envisioned when you start dating, when you'll get married, how they will attend your wedding and cut your cake, and it's so crazy to think
And
about.
what's wild is that I've even worked in a non-profit organization that was fighting for queer people, but if you're a queer person working for that organization, then you face the same. And you're just like, what?
Also another thing that I wanted to say, this is how we have double standards, because people criminalize workplace relationships and they say they're not allowed, but also they want to do them in private. They like, why can't you just let people love each other consensually? Like, I'm saying I like you, you like me. It doesn't matter whether we work together. Nothing should be interfered with. It shouldn't be a biased thing. We love each other at home. We don't love each other in the office. You, if you fuck up your job, you go. Even if I love you, you go home and chill. Find another job that you're not going to fuck up. But they do that and then they criminalize specific groups of people. It would most of the time be women and LGBTQ people.
That's
and
true.
Queer people can't have the privilege to speak up, the privilege and the right to speak about
up.
these experiences, because they will they'll put themselves in even much more danger, especially if they're not necessarily ready to come out to anyone. Yeah.
You're constantly scared.
Yeah. End of rant.
The next person said, everyone knows and has probably been with everyone. Do research before you date someone.
Not true.
The circles.
Well, the circle is very small, but it's also very big.
Yeah.
I think people say the circle is very small when they're trying to fuck your ex or be in a relationship with someone who has been with someone around you. But ideally, we are very many of us in Kenya. Why do you have to be in the same? You don't.
Do you think like the circle that's open is the one that they feel is small? Because I feel like closeted queers are quite a number.
All my circles are very big, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But, and I've said this again before, I think, in this same podcast. I think it's a very lazy rhetoric. It's a very lazy rhetoric, because I think, for example, we have straight people who are known to have slept with everyone, no? In
fact, the whole of Nairobi. Why are you talking?
Najua mnaniwatch, mnashangaa huyu lesbian anasema nini, but I know it's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Those men or those women, you know, they've been with everybody. Yeah.
And or even circles, like if you're working in law, you'll find everyone has slept with everyone.
The only thing
if you're working in medics,
but there's someone who knows something. Wote anawajua, mnataka kukutana wapi? Inaitwanga aje hii place iko tao? No.
See your lawyers.
Yenye wanakunyonga lawyers, yenye wanakunyonga cocktails huko.
Oh, Mwendas. Even Jana, there were people who were suggesting, so we go to Mwendas.
Guys, we know. The concept, it's a lazy rhetoric because I feel like, first of all, queer people ni wengi. I feel like
I've been 25
like
more than 500.
Yes. I feel like social media has society has successfully taken away the right of queer people to come out in such a way that a lot of people lose so much when they come out, so they would rather not. But that doesn't mean they're not queer, because we date them, we know them, we are not dating within a very small circle.
And we've been friends with them.
We've been friends with them. My social media put together, it's way over 10,000 people following me across board.
That's true,
I can say for a fact 95% of people who follow me, you decide which one is not the 5% and which one is 95%. But you just know over 95% of people who follow me are queer people. They don't have to say they are queer. When you're straight people, mnapenda kusema hapa it is we are shoving our agenda down your throats. No, we are not. Because if we did, it would be rainbows.
If anything, it's the heteros shoving their agendas down our throat. Because it's every day you're asked, why don't you have children? Why aren't you married? It's...
Leave me the F alone, right?
I also think what you said about doing the research before you date someone is also important. Because however big or small the circle is, knowing who you're dating is important. And knowing what kind of past they have or what kind of... things are in their closets. It may not be him in the closet, but the skeletons may be scary. I understand the bit of looking into the person you're trying to build a life with, but I also do not agree that circle is so small.
And do you think that same fear is what has been fed even into like young queers, and that's why by the time you're coming out, you're like, okay, this circle is so small, I don't know who is who
and who has done what,
and also you don't know if you can bravely approach someone as a queer person, and then you find out they are homophobic, and then they victimize you, and then now you're out in the open, and you've been outed in an unsafe way,
and you're a prayer item.
Two things I want to say. The first one is, I feel like the idea of research to know who you're dating cuts across. Even a straight person. You're not trying to date a serial killer just because you're out here dating everybody.
The serial killers are straight too.
Yeah, I just went mostly on. I just went on. Like you're trying to date someone who matches your vibe in whatever capacity that your vibe that you consider is your vibe. And then I think the second thing is, and this is purely according to my own experiences in dating, why would I meet a person and I like them and I'm worried whether they are queer? I don't think that is ever my first worry.
That's true.
My first worry is, I like you. If you don't like me, you don't like me. You tell me you don't like me. If you're not into women or girls or non-binaries, the they-thems like myself, you just tell me I'm not into you, and that's cool. But why will I in a world where Ruto is messing our day-to-day lives like that? Why would I want to wake up and I meet a person and I like, and my first worry is, are they queer?
Maybe it's out of fear. Because if I'm queer and I'm approaching someone and they take offense.
And that's why I said it's particularly according to my own experiences in dating. I don't move around worrying whether you're queer or not. I move around knowing if I like a person, I like a person. And if I like them, I tell them. And if they don't like me, it's okay. I move on with my life. And there are many reasons to why a person might not like me. It doesn't have to most of the time people interpret this as rejection. I don't interpret it as, it's never really rejection. In an ideal world, you don't want to be with a person who doesn't remotely want to be with you.
Yeah, it doesn't reciprocate the feeling.
Yeah, queer or not. So just because I know you're queer doesn't mean you'd want to be with me. Because if you tell me you're queer, so what?
Oh yeah, they could be queer and they still don't want you. Oh true. Okay, now nimeshika math.
Literally, you just want to be with somebody. You want to be with somebody who wants to be with you as well.
Yeah.
If they don't want to be with you, even if they were queer, it won't matter.
Sure.
If they want to be with you, because in the history of queer relationships, mine and other people's, I've met different kinds of people. I've met different kind of queer people who never knew they were queer until they met their current partner. And they're like, hey, I fell for this babe hard. Sometimes I even wonder if this babe leaves me, if I'll continue being queer because it's this babe. Right? And that doesn't invalidate your queerness.
That's true.
What matters is that you actually fell in love with this person. That's the most important thing in the whole story.
Yeah, that's true. Heteronormativity got us all thinking that you're first heterosexual And then if anything happens, then it's an accident. We never just go about life thinking that maybe.
Give yourself
Maybe.
permission to love and to be loved. There's so much love out there. You're missing out.
My Lord.
Oh, like a recruiter sasa.
I mean, call it whatever you want.
You and blind people. Unaona mtu akona shida ya macho akionanga tu ati unaenda kuangaliwa macho. Karibu sana, start wearing glasses like us. Oh, she doesn't have glasses.
See, I refused. I was really young when I was told I need to wear glasses. I was like, dude.
I've worn them for 20 years and I'm still pregnant. You'll be okay.
20 years.
You're
I've not
blind.
worn them for
You're legally
My nickname was Kipofu at high school.
Angalia mwenzako wa glasses anakucheka.
I'm legally blind. Na anacheka mpaka
Hapana.
It's bad when your fellow glass wearer is laughing at you. It's bad. It's bad.
I'd like to clear things up. Me, I'm wearing glasses so that my head doesn't ache. I have 3D eyesight. Yeah, I'm long-sighted.
So you can see close. Long-sighted people don't see short.
No, you can see the whatever, but the way light reflects into your eye, it makes your head ache. So you have migraines.
So you still
So I'm
like
only wearing glasses so I don't,
But you
so
are
that my
not
head doesn't
legally
ache,
blind.
but I can see. Okay, guys.
well,
In short, it's just you.
It's just
so
My fellow last from there is fine.
Soros. My other response here says, it is tough. Everything in our society dooms the relationship to fail.
I don't think so.
no.
Relationship will fail if you've not worked on yourself, if you've not done shadow work, if you've not healed, if you're not going for
That's
therapy.
one thing. Yes.
And we all carry trauma, and you can go back to other podcasts. You can see we've talked about traumas and everything. Heal, my nigga, heal.
Also, I think a lot of people need to realize that we've been raised by the cultures and traditions that were passed down to us are very problematic. And you need to, I tell people, just go to therapy, work on yourself, find ways in which to heal yourself, heal your traumas, know yourself better. Because I think also we are approaching relationships with a lot of things that was just passed down to us without understanding. And what's happening is, for queer people, it's even worse because we've been raised with homophobia. So for us heteros, it's like going into abusive relationships and sticking around because you must keep a marriage, things like those. But you can imagine for queer people, you're fighting your own self because first, you believe, your entire life you've been taught to believe that whatever you're feeling, first of all, is wrong.
It's a sin.
Yeah, it's a sin. You existing, the fact that you're feeling the way you're feeling, you existing, you're an abnormality in existence. And that says a lot. It says how you'll interact with people, how you'll go into relationships. So
I also think the first question is, what was the real reason you're getting into the relationship? Because if your goals are short term, it won't last.
that's
If
true.
you didn't have like a plan of how are you working to go together towards, I don't know, living life together in future, planning life and all that, it will be short term. It will be as short as you want it to be. Plus, it depends. It's also who are you even planning to date. Is it someone who was alikuwa anapitia kiendanga au ni ulikuwa hapo na feelings zako? The conversations around it is, have you communicated what you want for the relationship?
Yeah.
Society or not, I mean, we are existing, we are loving, and we are living life as it is. It's just the decisions and the plans each person has matters. But therapy, yes.
Kila mtu
Healing our
ajijue.
inner self is
Yeah.
actually very important.
And for me, I feel like I like whatever Olive was saying, to be a bit, not the devil's advocate. I don't even know the devil myself.
Well,
But anyway, the good thing about healing is, personally, I consider queer relationships easier than cis-heterosexual relationships. You know why? Because manuals have been created about heterosexual relationships, right?
Yes, true.
And for me, the reason I find it amazing is because I'm a queer person, I get to make new rules. Because I feel like with heterosexual people, it's hard to make new rules. it's almost as if, meet today, like each other, date for a couple of
Quotes
months,
for this
a year,
long.
2 years,
Introduce to parents.
introduce to parents, propose to each other, get married, have children. It's like there's this
There's
thing
a
you're
script.
following, and
Yeah.
there's constant people to remind you. But you see, because people, first of all, are opposed to queer relationship. Second, even if they are not opposed, they've not seen them, so they have nothing to say about them. So it almost always leaves the opportunity to explore what a relationship should look like for you, to you, with the person you're with.
Yeah.
So there's, if you
So
think
you
about
mold-
it,
you
really,
mold it yourself
if you
and
think
not-
about it, really, there's lesser noise.
Yeah.
And if you ask me, a healthy relationship should be like that. Two people who are okay with meeting, and from the point they meet and start being in a relationship, they start building what a relationship looks like for them, because we are so used to these normal things, which is crazy. And I'm using air quotes because normal
Nothing
to
is
who?
really normal.
Yeah.
Like you're already coloring outside the book.
Exactly.
So, I mean,
Yeah, you might
create
as
your own book
well.
as well.
Yeah, you can do your thing. So create a relationship. The idea of I'm a queer person, I'm in a relationship now. If I get into another relationship with another person, I'll do the same things is crazy.
Oh, yeah.
You're dating a totally different person. And a relationship ideally should always be different to you, the two of you.
Because you're dating
Nobody else should understand
different
it.
personalities.
It's why I find it wild when men don't defend their wives to their in-laws. I'm like, dude, there's 8 billion people in the world. You chose this person to just
you
give
still-
them up to people who is going to attack them.
true.
Like, you could have just you could
could
have
have
just
come
been
about
with your people. Yeah, like, it doesn't make sense because
Yeah.
this person who allegedly understands you better, knows you better, sees you naked. Do you know how crazy it is? And so
That's the highest level of vulnerability, and I don't know why people take it so
and then
lightly.
people are saying, I'm not a vulnerable person. No, you're naked. Somebody. What do you mean?
Someone has touched your insides.
Okay, I'm not
Please.
an emotional person. Do you know how emotional it is to remove your clothes in front of
That's
somebody?
true.
And then to get used to it for years and years. They know all the crevices in your body. What do you mean? And then you want to tell me this person who sees you like that
it's also the person who can stand for
is
you.
Yeah, 'cause it doesn't stand for you.
Make
It's-
sense.
yeah.
You're missing a chance to mold a relationship with that person, to know them. And so for me, I think the joy of queer relationships in my life has been as such. It's always an opportunity
You can make
to
it
be
out
one,
to
a
be
better
what-
version of myself. To be loved in ways that I never imagined, because then there's no boxes, and so I can create what love looks like for me, and then I can do that for the people that I love too. Yeah.
When you're speaking, I'm thinking about two people standing somewhere potting a pot with Ian in a rolling.
Yeah, the pottery.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're molding it together. So
It's
They
beautiful.
shape and shape and shape and shape and shape,
until
Yeah.
they
and
get
come
a
up
good
with
thing.
whatever different things they want to come up with.
And you know what's the way you've said external noises? Even last week we had on the success side of love, and we had people here who've been in long-term relationships. And the one thing they kept drumming in is that the relationship should not have external noises. Your partner should not come in with things they've had from their friends, from their family, and to think it's literally the same thing.
Ambia aliniambia.
And you have ati nimesikia warafiki wangu hawaoshangi vyombo kwao, huku ni wapi ati mimi naosha vyombo. Anyway, queers hawana shida kama hizo, kila mtu osha vyombo.
But who said though? Because then the other thing that affects queer relationships is gender roles.
Oh,
Because
really?
we are all products of patriarchy, we are all products
True.
of misogyny, we are all patriarchy.
But doesn't that
products of-
also come down to working
External
on yourself?
activity.
That's why
and
when
learning
you
things.
said that prompt, exactly, I said heal, my nigga, heal. Work on yourself, because when you heal, when you do shadow work, when you know yourself, you know those dishes can spend the whole week if you all don't feel like doing them. But if you want to do them, not because there's an expectation.
Or you can hire someone to
Or
do
you can
dishes.
hire
Also,
someone.
the idea that juu nimeosha vyombo ndo unafaa upike.
Pike is
The-
crazy.
It's an African
thing.
home thing.
Yeah, like if
I mean,
wanna-
I washed dishes, you are
if I want to
cooking.
do all of them, I
Yeah.
can do
I
all of
did
them.
shopping, so wash the damn house. And I'm thinking, again, while we are healing, communicate. Si kukwambia upike. Ulikuwa unataka kupika. You have fun doing it. Yes, fun. Be cook. If not, order.
Yeah, true.
And eat in your box.
And then now that
Don't
you've
be
cooked and I
distracted.
didn't ask you to cook, Now you want me to assume I should
I'll
do dishes
And
because
you should say thank you before you eat.
I feel like saying thank you
hey, you've
shouldn't
come
be.
for the heteros.
I feel like saying thank you shouldn't be an expectation. It's a thing you do when you're appreciating your partner. Thank you for the food. It was nice. But it shouldn't be nimepika niambie asante. What do you mean?
Oh, thank you. In the singles episode you were saying, I don't understand acts of kindness because it's what is humanly expected. It's bare minimum. Kusalimia watu. It's expected. Being kind to people, it's expected. When you tell me acts of kindness, what do you mean? As opposed to what? What were you planning to do?
I understand them because I feel like we can't ignore the fact that we live in a world, there's so many chaos, right? So act of kindness is the very simple thing that sometimes you don't do them and you don't realize that's what you should have done.
Yeah.
For example, if you're walking and you bump into someone, I know people who never say sorry. And that is an act of kindness because...
It's not an act of kindness. If you bump into someone, say sorry.
No, but many people don't say sorry, Olev.
What about a big way? Ish.
But are you gonna try and fight? Because I feel like when you say acts of kindness, we think of kindness as something bigger than normal, and I feel like it's the bare minimum. It's like the kawaida things. It's the kawaida things. Yeah. It's like you got here and you found us here and you say thank you guys for coming. Like literally.
It's not kind.
You don't have to.
It's bare minimum.
Yes.
As opposed to what?
It has to be put that way because then in a relationship, if you don't remember to do those things, the other person will constantly wonder.
But also I'm thinking, the other thing, maybe this is why I've been single this long. The other thing I'm thinking is, if we are not aligning in those values, if I note first date or second date, I've realized you don't say sorry, you don't use your kind words.
You're not polite to the waitress.
Already you're not my person.
Yeah, you see there's people who like saying, Mimi, if I go out with a person and I see they're treating someone badly, it's a turn off. Because ideally that is supposed to be a kawaida thing. But you'll be shocked at the number of people who don't do that.
Huyo ni akona tabia mbaya na mimi si date mtu akona tabia mbaya.
Na kama ongeleshi wazuri wengine na amewapata siku ya kwanza na kaka kwa nyumba.
Atakuongelesha
Thank you.
Also, and then capitalism and access to resources, especially money, inaleta kiburi. People think because I have money, and I do believe and I know money is important and money can buy you so many things in life, right?
Yeah.
But people get money and then people feel entitled to other people's opinions, safety, space, and all that. Like, sinikona pesa, what you gonna tell me? I'm gonna sue you. You're not gonna... Like, dude, it's not even about that.
Yeah. That's new money. You can tell when someone has poverty trauma, and don't date those people. Ajazoea pesa. I know akona pesa, but ajaizoea.
Yes. And then the levels of it is that in a relationship there's more layers of vulnerability because then this is probably a person you spend probably every day with or you live with in the house.
Yeah.
And so because you live with this person in the house, it's probably the only person you'd want to hear these things from. Oh, babe, today you made food. Thank you so much. Not because you cooked to be told that.
Yeah.
As a person who loves cooking, when I cook for my partners, me atosboniambia thank you. I've told myself thank you a long time ago. Because I love cooking. Cooking is a lot of things to me. It's therapeutic, it's relaxing, it's But when you tell me that, I didn't need it, but it will feel good.
It feels nice,
right?
Yeah.
It will make you smile.
Yes. So the concept of kindness is that it will make the person feel good. It's not a thing that needs to be understood. See vitu kama sijui touch, where a whole relationship essentially is always built on the concept of touch and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that, but like ikikuja to kindness, it ndo tunaambianga to date people who like you.
True.
Oh.
True.
Because if you don't date people who like you, if you date people who actually hate you, where are you gonna experience any kindness?
That's true.
Yeah, to expect like every cis-heterosexual man walking out here. But I expect kupika ni duty yako. Was gender roles who?
Oh, the singles also said, since we said we don't know how to cook, since we women said we don't know how to cook, men all of a sudden became chefs.
Yeah.
Every man we're meeting now is telling us, I like to cook, come I cook for you. And they know international cuisines.
Let them
They're not just cooking
By
ugali scuba now.
all means, I wish someone told them a long time ago they had stomachs. Even
Who
when
would
they
have told
thought
them
they
and
had.
their mothers were obsessed with coddling them? So that we can cook for them.
The audacity.
Another person said queer relationships can be just as abusive as hetero ones.
Yes.
I agree with that.
IPV
100%.
is real. And this comes back to healing and facing the traumas you have, because there are all sorts of abuse even in queer relationship, whether it's emotional abuse, whether it's financial abuse, whether it's physical abuse even. These things are real and they're existing even in our communities as well. So run is what I say, just run. Because if I am not cuddling you to heal, and your safety comes first, in my opinion. If it's the small, akikupiga kofi leo by mistake aseme sorry, ukae tu hapo, kesho atakupiga kofi, si anajua nikikubaia keki atakupiga. It works. It's sad that it exists, but yes, it is there. And
I think for me what I want to say is, and I'm daring this so that I hope queer people will come and comment, I think it's even worse in a relationship. And I'm only referencing to women loving women, the they, thems. Yeah, because at least I have experience on that when it comes to, for example, gay men or people who are dating trans people and all that kind of stuff. I can only say so much that is,
not in your pocket.
That is written and I've read about and I've been told by some of my friends, but I have zero experience over that. But for women loving women relationships especially, for example, men lie for stupid reasons. Men lie nonsensically. A man would look at you in the face and realize you're mad and lie about, I've been here the last 2 hours and it's not true, this man just got here 5 minutes ago.
Even unprovoked. They just sit and they're just like, let me tell her a lie, and you are not even talking.
He looked at you, he assumed you're mad and you decided to spiral from there. He decided. You didn't even say you're mad. Maybe you're just having your RBF face on and he just thinks,
Yeah.
But then when it comes to women, also men are very surface level when it comes to emotions and everything. Men almost always, and they like saying, it's being macho, but men are scared of going deep into emotions.
And that's socialization as well.
Yes. Whereas women are not scared of emotions. So being with women will entail a lot of vulnerability. So the stages in which you can experience violence from a women-loving women relationship goes with stages of grief. Stages of abuse. Kuna emotional, psychological, because these people are not scared of emotions.
And they'll talk.
And they will talk. And they will tell you how they feel, but also they'll manipulate you into believing how you feel is not even the thing. By the time you are leaving, it's because your partner abused you. And ugana huyo mtu alikuwa abused, usikize story. Utasikia alikuwa ananyimwanga food. Usikia alikuwa haendi out kama hajasema anaenda na nani, na lazima mabeshte zake wote wakuwe vetted. You will hear things. You will hear things.
Are you for real?
Yes. And
also the fact that there's nowhere they can report. That's also hard.
Yes, because that's the difficulty.
Yeah.
Most people are not even out, so there's no real place to go. Like, even if you've been isolated, because one of the things I've seen, especially, because I get a lot of these cases reported and all that, one of the things that is constant with, especially women-loving women relationships, women know how to isolate people. You think men can isolate you? Women can isolate you. They can even tell you things like, they can even fabricate messages to show you your best friend is chatting them up to say they like them and all that.
My lord.
I don't want people, because people always assume, date women, it's easy. No. Dating generally is not easy. That's first and foremost. And it doesn't make any difference when it's queer relationship. The only time dating becomes easy is if you're dating a person who you can see eye to eye. You have ideology, not necessarily the same, but you are okay with agreeing to disagree and all that kind of stuff. Things like that really matter. You've worked on yourselves and all that. But beyond that, fear women. And I'm not saying this in the ways we say fear men, where men will kill you. A woman will probably not kill you, but the things they will do. Utafika mahali useme nimeshuka hii basi ya maisha, I'm out of here by myself. Hence why I know we say a lot about cases of suicide in the queer community are very prevalent, and it's because of how the society treats queer people, but also because the extensive repercussion of how society treats queer people is why a lot of queer people would commit suicide, not necessarily for mental health, because they're in terrible relationships. They don't know what to do.
Completely isolated.
And also the fact that hurt people will continue hurting people.
And I don't agree with that statement. Hurt people. Mimi, I never agree with it. I know psychologically they've proven it's true, but me, I don't agree with it completely. But now, because you are alone in a relationship, your family is not accepting of you. Or even if they are, you might never know because you've not come out to them because you're scared. And then, again, we are all products of patriarchy and all that kind of stuff. There's always going to be, again, external noise. There's always going to be a lot of external noise. I come to you, I tell you, my partner is doing this and this. We have so many people out there who are willing to tell you, fight for your relationship. I don't believe relationships should be fought for. I believe you are there when you want to, I'm there when I want to. When I no longer want to be there, I'm out of here.
We can't fight the finance bill and then come home.
I know. I'm not going to fight for shit. I'll only fight finance bill. Let it be known. But I will not come home to a relationship that I have to fight for.
True.
I will not come home to that. And so because these people don't have anywhere else to go, people to have community with. And yes, I know people always say, but there's queer people you can commune with. There's so much of that, but at the end of the day, you still go home to your place, to your partner and all that kind of stuff. And your partner has to feel like home, has to feel like a place you're excited to go to after a lot of sensory activities you do and you're meeting people out there. You need a person who calms you down, who makes you feel like you're home and you're safe and all that kind of stuff. And if you don't have that person, but also you don't have community, it's not gonna work. So a lot of people are self-exiting because of these things. And you will never know, because rarely, I mean, back in the day, there's a lot of people who self-exited left notes. But nowadays, most people don't leave notes.
Y'all don't deserve to
people
know.
Are just like, come out of here, you figure your shit out.
Me, I'm out. Deuces.
And so when you really think about it, relationships have a lot of
and
issues
on the
going
note of is it abuse? In hetero relationships, there's a lot of financial abuse as well.
Yes.
And I've forgotten their name, a post on Facebook. And they were saying, I think it's cis female dating cis female. So at the end of the day, even if you're presenting as female, at the end of the day, if you're transitioning, but you still can't pass for male. Let's say you're transgender, but you still can't pass for male. If you're working in particular spaces, we as women still face the same challenges when it comes to pay gap, things like those. So even if you have a masculine presenting, if you're dating a masculine presenting person, it doesn't mean they have better access to money like a man would. So what's that financial dynamic in queer relation? I would say for females.
Most first of all, I think the biggest problem is people don't like talking about money. And then, again, we'll go back to acts of kindness. People are not kind. I need you to understand that. Like, it doesn't make sense, but the 5 languages of love were a scientific research. And the concept of the science behind it is the reason femicide is prevalent is because people are killed by people that they love, because people are not kind. People generally are not kind. And worse, when you're dating these people, because when you're dating someone, you get to see the best characteristics, but also their worst characteristics. And you're a human being. And sometimes you can have aversions over people's characteristics, not because you hate these people, but because before you dated them, you never knew these things.
That's true.
And now you're dating them, you know them. And now, again, because we're all products of patriarchy and all that, now the problem magnifies because now there's two people who feel like someone should be doing shit for them.
Someone should be,
Yes. So
if you both want baby girl treatment.
And then because, and this I'm coming for queer people, 100%, especially Mask of Center, studs, these people who ascribe to all these things that patriarchy comes with, the toxicity of it. Because this toxicity then demands you become macho, become the head of the family and all that kind of stuff. There's one person, especially in most cases, not all cases, in most cases, the femme presenting one is the princess of the relationship. Do for me. And the mask one is the doer for you. And it seems like it's working, but in reality it's not working because, like you said, we are all still going back to a system where the system sees us as women.
Yeah, you're still not gaining
and
any upper hand.
And we are all still being affected by pay gap, but also because we are women, we are also being paid very little money, even when we don't consider pay gap. Our negotiation is thrown out the window all the time. Men can negotiate for their salaries. Women have to settle for what they're given. If they don't want it, they can go. Nobody cares, right? And so all these things are still happening. And so for me, I think, not ideally really, but most importantly, make it okay to talk about money. And I don't think when I say talk about money, I mean tell your partner every single cent you make. I mean, be honest about how you go around expenditure. If you're in a relationship and you're living together, you have rent to pay, you have bills to pay, or maybe you already have your house, but just because you do doesn't mean you don't have bills to pay. Come together and agree. What does it
money
look
habits,
like?
money trauma.
Yeah, I know people like saying, oh, it's 50-50. 50-50 is never, for me as far as I'm concerned, is never a logical thing because let's say 50-50 and you earn 100K and I earn 20K. 50-50 to me is 10K.
50
but if you say
50-50
and you earn 100K and you're living in a house here 50K, salary yangu ni
technically
20K. Salary yangu ni 20K. And I can say if we agreed 50% of your salary has to come together and then we plan around the house, it will mean 50K yako na 10K yangu iko 60K. Tulipe 40K rent, tuamwizi bills, tutasettle aje na 20K every month and all that kind of stuff. But many people are not in it. But also even as you're figuring out the 50-50, when you're in a relationship with someone, please find people who want to bring 100% to a relationship. Don't find
100.
people who are constantly saying, oh, relationship is 50-50, relationship is 100-100.
I agree with you, but I also think that some cases are different because...
Like which one?
Well, first of all, not all relationships have a masculine presenting person and a feminine presenting person.
Yeah.
In some cases have two masculine presenting people or two feminine presenting people.
Yeah.
And also the other thing is not all of us are in the corporate world where the pay gap is this big. There are people who are in business world. There are people who offer services here and they are doing good for themselves. So while I know financial violence is very wild and broad in our community, there are two good fruits out there somewhere.
And I mean,
even as much as, even if you say like there are spaces where women still can thrive and women are making good money, they're quite limited and you still have to operate under certain... It's the same way, like I know I can't call a plumber. Someone told me if I'm building a house as a woman, I have to get someone to front as my husband. Because people will not even listen to you. The architect will not listen to your design. So that's a thing.
From you, they'll do everything.
Yeah, a lot of women are running businesses and they have men as the front or as the face. So at the end of the day, they still have to operate under so many... It's just things you have to jump over hoops to get something that a man just walks into a room and gets.
And I think for me that's why I was saying at the end of the day, whether it's stud on stud, whether it's femme on femme, like we are all still in the societal perspective of things, we are all still women. Everyone out there looks at us as women. It's the way I'm an non-binary person. But I have had to settle with the truth that everyone will see me as a woman. I don't even get mad at people I don't know. If you know me and you use a wrong pronoun, I'll question that. But if you don't know me, you do you. Because literally, why am I going to let a person who I don't even know impact how my day goes in general? But then that's that is the reality. But then even as I was addressing that, my thinking wasn't there are people who are doing better. Yes, there are people who are doing well. In fact, if you think about it, we were talking about queers who are in the closet, and we have a lot of queer people who are not out here and they're doing really well. I said some of them are even in political positions and all that kind of stuff. We said wakimess na finance bill, but tutawataja wote if they play with us.
I'm not
but tutataja politicians kwa sababu kwa nini wanakata laws za kuprotect queers zipite huko na bado wanakuja home kwetu kusema I love you for what? It doesn't make sense. We will out them.
You want to fight for me?
We will fight them.
I am not part of that message. No, the heart that comes with outing people is too much.
No, but you see, that's not the heart because of hurting people. These people are sitting. Esther Passaris is not a queer woman, but True. Esther Passaris is boldly speaking for queer people.
True.
So why do you think if I know you...
the closeted people who are making the bills?
That's what I'm saying.
That's what they're saying. They're outing MPs.
I'm not saying queer people. I'm saying politicians.
No, the one making the bill, not those that are voting.
No, but politicians, they're the ones who are making the bill. Yeah, they made the bill and then they have to vote for it to agree or disagree. It's literally the same people. Out all of them. Out all of them. But what I was saying is, it's not even about how much a person makes, per se. Because what if two people who are not necessarily making much are together? That doesn't mean the conversation about finances is not valid. It is very valid. Hata kama pesa yako ni 50 bob peke. It's very valid to have that conversation because at the end of the day, and that's why I was big on 100. You want a person who is genuinely and honestly bringing the best that they could to a relationship.
That's true.
Not a person who compromises that by saying, one leg in, one leg out. That and that affects a lot of relationships because everyone thinks,
I've just remembered something. That's why I'm laughing. For lesbians, to be specific, I saw a video where I don't know if the femme presenting usually forgets that the mask presenting is is female too, and so they'll come with things like, "Oh, whose tampon is that? You're cheating on me." It's like
the pranks, right?
Yes, and I was like, remember even me.
Like, I know probably I don't use tampons, but also I'm a human being going through a human experience. Maybe this is the first time I've used it. So why is pranking someone with a tampon a prank or a panty?
Yeah,
it's a less panty. Literally, I can wake up one day and decide femininity.
Today I'm feeling.
It doesn't make sense. Me too. But that's why I watch them. It feels good to just for a moment feel like the smarter person in the room between you and your TV.
Sit in the damn side of
you and your TV. You're like, look at those people. Me. That will never happen to me.
That can never be me. All right. Someone else here said, that babe will break my heart, same as Luo man. And then they said, but they said jokes, but I know it's not jokes. Your heart can be broken either way.
And that's the vulnerability women come with in relationship is why the heartbreak will hurt more. Also because women are tender, women are more receptive to emotions and all that kind of stuff. It would mean how you experience love with a woman would also be in magnitude over beyond deep, and above what necessarily a man would do, because a man will always be thinking, will this hurt my ego? Will I still be this macho man if I do this? Whereas women won't. And so when your heart is hurt, it will hurt properly.
I can imagine losing your romantic partner, your best friend, your confidant,
your slumber party buddy.
And then also when you fall in love, you go all in.
Yes.
And women ride hard. They ride hard
because there are heartbreaks that you'll see coming because niliona ikikuja, but there are heartbreaks you're like, you stay in bed for like a whole month thinking, what did I
had
do
one
to
of
myself?
Those some years back.
I had one
2017, 2018.
Pre-COVID.
That was pre-COVID.
No painkiller will rest.
Heartbreak is heartbreak.
But I feel like heartbreaks are necessary.
They are.
Ask me.
Heartbreak though.
I
you
feel
know
like
why I think they're necessary? Because I think they teach you how you'd love to be loved. If it doesn't hurt, you won't know how you want to be loved. Like, I know you've broken up with people and you're like, surely, why am I going to be worried about this? Because even you were giving me crumbs. I'm like, it's been real. But then there are people who will leave you, or you will leave them, or you will leave each other according to the circumstances in whatever way in which that relationship is ending. And the heart that comes with it makes you realize, and that's why I'm very particular about people who, and I know your ex did bad things, and it's okay to speak about the bad things that they did, but I don't want you to look too. But that's what I'm saying. But I don't want you to look at that relationship and be like, my ex was a terrible person, because probably the reason it hurts a lot is because you were loved in ways you haven't experienced before. True. Give yourself permission to explore what that looks like. And you loved it. Yes.
Oh, no wonder she said it. She compared it to Luo, man. Yes. The way the amount of love you're shown when it's retrieved, unabaki empty. You are being flown and being bought iPhones, and then all of a sudden,
where do people go from here? Because me, I have nowhere to go. For a while. Yes, and we are keen on saying, it hurts, because I feel like I look at my relationships going off of how the relationship I've left, and immediately I'm ready for another relationship. I'm like, I'm Gucci, because maybe I'm really keen and very particular about checking in with myself. I'm like, I don't have to have another 32-teethed person here with me when I'm struggling with my shit. I don't need
I have
that.
29.
At I mean, I don't have 32, but I was asking. I have 32.
Finally, something you have.
I think it's a Scorpio thing. We can live now. I have something. But I'm not trying to go through a heartbreak and then it is I'm healing by being with another person. For me, that sounds like, shooting myself in the leg. So I'll take my time. But I know how a relationship impacted me. And it's true, some relationships don't teach you nothing. I don't want people to always say you always learn something. Some don't teach you shit.
There's usually that one that almost teaches, it's crash course.
Yes. Everything. And then there's some you enter and you're like, why was I here for this long again?
Yes,
what was this even necessary? It's that ex or those exes. Mkona partner wako mna make fun of your exes na ukumbukangi your ex until kuna siku ni meet mkiwa na babe no babe I forgot. That person saw my private parts, but I don't remember. I'm really trying it. No, it's true. Some relationships don't teach you shit. Some relationships don't teach you shit. In the very least, the only lesson you live with is, I don't want that ever again. Never again would I want that. And if that's a lesson, then it counts. But some relationships don't teach you shit.
My Lord. We exchanged.
You're welcome. It's Pride Month, guys.
We rubbed susu and you're nowhere in my memory.
Like literally.
Oh my Lord. This is the last response, and then we go to emails. The last response here says, wish I was out or open about it, because the abuse I got from a friend who wanted me! !
I think you're to my
Nalabda ni
uko kwa kazi.
I want to this is a message to you straight people. It's Pride Month, so we are telling you everything we need to tell you. Please, I'm a lesbian. I don't like every woman.
And when you want to experiment, don't come experiment with me.
It's funny. This is coming from me because I'm not necessarily the kind of person who says, do you have a type? The only type I like is if you can use your brains. If you don't use your brains, please stay away from me.
Sapiosexual.
But other than that, please, I'm a lesbian. That doesn't mean I'm trying to see your private parts every time you see me. There's parts I want to see. For the people's parts that I want to see, I've told them I want to see the parts. If I haven't told you, I don't want to see your parts. Keep them to yourself.
That reminds me of instances when you're trying to come out to someone and in their mind they're thinking,
Not even in their minds. Straight women are so audacious. They'll ask you, so now because you like women,
do you find me?
Do you find me attractive? Yes, you're attractive, and I don't even want you.
Or do you
Those
guys
things-
experience
those things can exist
if when
together.
someone finds out you are queer, they're like, there's this queer friend of mine.
There's this queer cousin of mine. Everyone has a queer
Everyone has
cousin.
a queer cousin. Let me see, do I have a queer cousin? Actually not.
Niliwaona on Facebook nikamwambia
Maybe
mwacha
that's why.
kusemanga I have a lesbian
But
friend.
it
Make sure it's
depends.
not
Maybe they've
me.
not even come out because of the way the family set up.
But
Yeah.
I think it depends with how are you bringing up the story of your queer friend or your queer cousin.
Yes.
Because if you're bringing from a place of knowledge and from a place of understanding and kindness, I'll get that. But you're trying to prove that, oh, I have a queer person, so this is what.
Actually, that's
Actually, it's
homophobic.
usually to hook you guys up.
Actually,
usually,
it's also very
it's like the way
homophobic.
Wazungus say, oh, you're from Zimbabwe, I have a friend in Kenya.
As if
What Sakari is that?
yeah, no, Wazungu say that. They say I'm going to Africa.
And do you know
It's
my
like
friend?
we are all in the same nini, and I'm like, dude, what do you
So it's the
mean?
same way you might be single, and then I know you're queer, but then when I meet you every time, it's like, there's this friend of mine. I know B. There's this friend of mine. You might want to meet her.
No,
it's
I don't want to meet your friend. I promise you, the people I want to meet, I've met them. I'm
They're
about
not
to
in your
meet them.
circles.
I will know when I'm supposed to meet them. I don't want to meet your friend.
Yeah.
Please, leave me alone.
Okay.
But
well,
yes, straight women, please. We are lesbian,
I've
but
never
we are not
thought of it
trying.
that way. When someone tells me I have a queer friend or something like that, I've never thought of it like
it's
that.
always to like
No.
they always think you're attracted to any other woman.
No, but that is literally a research question answered. For them, they're saying that because they're thinking you're queer, you
Yes.
think, let me meet them. But for you, you're just over here being queer and living your life. You will meet the people you meet.
Yeah.
You will like the people you like. It has nothing to do with.
But I think it comes from the same way you said we are all victims of the patriarchy.
Yeah.
Because even me being single, there's no space I walk into where someone does not suggest someone they can hook me up
I
with.
have never. Okay, you've walked.
How
in
do you
spaces-
I was like,
Me, I've never.
How do you respond to people always bringing you?
I think for me, I have quick wit, so I'll always throw on something that we can just laugh about and then move. But and then being a cartoon,
You'll always find something.
you'll always find something. I've never had to reply to it seriously. So I think for me, I've gotten away with it.
Okay. Now go.
Anyway, the gospel is that we are not lesbian for you. Leave us the fuck
Yeah,
alone.
true.
The people we are lesbians for, no.
Oh, also, there's a question I wanted to ask before we get to the now mails. There's the LGBTQIA plus community. LGBTQIA. Can we differentiate those or?
Umbrella, you can't. They can be differentiated according to different discourses. It could be sometimes organizational discourse, the population that the organization is working with. For example, we have
Wait, differentiate in terms of?
Differentiate in that you see like LGBT is that's a sexual orientation. LGB.
yes,
That's a sexual orientation.
yeah,
And then trans
T,
and
I
I and
is-
G and C's
yeah,
are now cuts across gender.
yeah.
Because
That's what I was
Yeah,
thinking. Yeah,
yes.
that's what I was trying to ask. Can we?
yes,
Can we?
they're actually spaces that center themselves around gender alone.
Yes.
And there are spaces that center around the whole SOGI umbrella.
Yeah, and
But
then,
yes, there's
yeah.
a very big difference between who I am
Sexuality,
and who I am attracted
gender,
to.
the whole
Because
thing, yes.
the gender comes first. It's you.
Yeah.
This is who you are. And then the sexuality is now, it's like a pinch of salt on top of who you are. So
Yes.
there is a distinct difference between gender and the sexuality.
It's the way I
Yes.
say, I use they, them because I'm non-binary. And then I'm a lesbian. People always say, but it's confusing. No, baby. It's not confusing.
Yeah.
It is
So
not-
also
yes,
sexuality
yes,
and gender.
Yes.
Thank you. Hey,
Yeah, it's not
I've racked my
confusing
brain for
at
this
all.
one.
Only pay school fees.
And when I'm in a government office, I use gay because that term irritates them.
Oh yeah.
So if you say gay, they look at you.
Are you the gay?
Exactly gay. Why are you gay? Yeah, so it's all those things are for us, they don't confuse, but for purposes of understanding, yes, you can separate different.
They're actually very distinct.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
It's a good question because nimeifikiria for so many years because
hata niuliza ni nini haizi niuliza, kuna kitu haizi niuliza kweli.
You know, it's because I thought the A was asexual.
Yeah. But asexual, it's now something to do with sexuality. It's someone who is not in it. Okay, it depends whether they are agresexual, they are fully asexual. It's someone who does not perceive.
Who understand the sexuality better than
No, I understand. So I was asexual and I was like, can I call myself queer? Because that's where I was like, no, I need to understand the difference.
They look at LGBTQ and they think all these things don't apply to them. They do. The reason we specify on LGBTQ is because those are the most oppressed people. Them, they're not oppressed. It's the scenario of we have human rights, but the reason we say women's rights is because women are more oppressed.
Yeah.
Whereas men. So it's the same thing. Human rights, people's rights. The reason we say LGBTQ rights is because straight people don't be facing all these discriminations. But straight people can be asexual too.
Yeah.
Straight people have orientations, they have identities, they have genders, they can be all these things. So why are people constantly
I think for me, I just didn't want to identify with the term queer because I felt like it would be clout chasing. I felt like I don't, you know how you'd be in a particular community, but you're not facing the brunt of what people in that community are facing, the true challenges.
But there's always someone who is facing a bigger challenge than you are. Let me give an example.
Yeah.
For queer people, there are people who can pass for straight.
Very, yes.
Nikivaa suti niingie kwa ofisi, I'll look very straight and I'll pass for a straight person. And there's someone hata ajaribu aje, you just like and their trauma cannot be my trauma and their challenges cannot be my challenges. I cannot fit in their shoe. It's big and it's very heavy, their burden. And while we may try to lighten burdens of each other, hakuna time things will be similar. There's someone who is facing a challenge of amekataliwa kwao ama ameoutiwa, or there's an ex somewhere who decided uliniacha, let me out you to everyone who knows you, even into your office area. There's someone who's been blackmailed and threatened. There's someone who's trying to transition and is facing that as well. So they will never be in an equal line. There's someone who has a trust fund somewhere, so as much as life is tough, anaweza relax to home, aongee na therapist wake online, and life goes on. Where you have to toil for what you eat, otherwise you'll let it
still in the same spaces where you're being fought.
So it's important to realize that the trauma is different, but it's okay to realize you have your space in the room.
Okay.
Imesound kama quote ya bus. Bumper ticket.
Ni vile mi sipendi kuchase cloud. Hakuna kitu ni bo kama cloud. She's identifying as queer because do you know my worst fear in this world ni kuamka siku moja niambie watu ati I dreamt ati God, my lord, mkisikia mnizike nitakufa mbele please.
Mungu ameniongelesha.
Ati I saw ati God took me, I saw Michael Jackson in hell.
Akibiumbwa.
Ati bacon, sijui bold.
Akisunisamehe nataka kupata sponsorship kwa hiyo.
Hata kusponsor na nini? Kwa nini unataka marini na nywele yako fupi?
My lord, I wonder so much.
Luo men got you covered.
Imagine this podcast is not sponsored and Luo men are here every day consuming my content. It's not fair. So what else? Olive, I'm usually on Instagram. Just saw this week's prompt and I just want to tell you that queer love is hard because you can't meet anyone organically. Also, I'm like 19 and never had my first experience.
I'm like, Paul,
Isif, ebu be nice to younger people.
Acha nimpe advice toka kwa somewhat shoga mkongwe. Please, baby. Leave. The only thing you should be trying to do organically right now is finding out, not even that, I'm leaving the serious things out of life and I'm focusing on their queerness.
Yeah.
Focus on finding spaces of queer people, spaces that can be beneficial to you with regards to community, with regards to learning the things you need to learn about the community in general, but also spaces that will allow you meet people that will become friends, that will become chosen family, because trust you me, even if you come from the most loving home as a queer person, you still need queer people who you can relate your experiences with.
Communities are very important.
Focus on finding those. You will meet people organically when you have community.
Have you met
someone?
I've never done dating apps. If I was to use my social media as dating apps, maybe Facebook and Instagram are the only ones who would be dating apps.
But I'm thinking, think about yourself back when you were 19. I think being in the culture that we've been raised in as an African, you're just 19, you just want to start dating. Maybe you've not even come out because how do you like
19th year?
I'm like, how do I even come out? How do I even?
I remember mine, but I also think, again, we all have different experiences in life.
How was your 19th?
And so I'm about to go there. Like we all have different experiences in life.
Yes.
But also over, beyond and above that, I feel like everyone is introduced to sex and dating and relationships differently. So I feel like, and now I'm acknowledging we're living in a time where Gen Zs are like more open, coming out easily, and all that is thanks to the fight that has been fought before, and people are more aware. Your parents are probably more accepting than some of us are, and that's the truth. But I think for me, the reason my 19th year is memorable is because of some of the most, some experiences that I've had growing up. But outside of that, also, even up until now, I'm not necessarily the kind of a person who, if I don't date, I'll die. Nothing will kill me. In fact, I feel like when I'm not dating, I'm more happier. I'm having a happier sex life. I'm having a happier everything, to be honest. Because when it comes to relationship, I'm not saying relationships are bad. When I'm in relationship, I have fun with relationships too.
Yeah.
But something about just, it's another human being, like I said, with 32 teeth that you have to always be considerate of. You have to know your decisions impact them as well, and all that kind of stuff. And you can't tell me as a human being that will definitely affect you in one way or the other. And so for me, my 19th year wasn't necessary. It wasn't a time I was hyper fixated on, dating. Yes, I was struggling with my sexuality and identity and just knowing who am I and all that kind of stuff. But that didn't translate directly to me, wanting to date people.
Dating was not,
and all that. It was, for me, it was a much slow burn kind of process. And so I didn't have those experiences. But when I look back, the things I wish I did, and that's why it was easy for me to tell this person to find community. The things I wish I had were community, because that struggle would have been much lesser excruciating. The struggle of understanding your sexuality, your identity. Who are you in a society that seems to be doing things in a very tunnel vision way?
True.
And I'm this person who experiences all these things that don't fit in that tunnel vision. What am I going to do with myself? I wish I had that. So focus on that.
Yeah.
Not a double agent. My 19th year was a double life.
You are an imposter to yourself.
I would wake up and wear the longest dress with a wig in my head. And the microphone kanisani. I was a perfect daughter.
Oh my Lord.
Alafu jioni, kwa wig, narudi WhatsApp, naangalia bashka.
That's exactly what
I had a lot of ideas.
That's exactly what they used to say. Oh my lord.
My 19th year had a lot of identity crisis. It was just unkept.
It was, yeah, I can
I
imagine.
look at that child and right now I'm like, oh, you need the hug. That was much. And I'm impressed they already know who they are and what they want. So
That's
something.
impressive, yeah.
Yeah. I hope they find community because after my 19th year kidogo nilikakaa early 20s nikautiwa, the community I had then did help a lot. So community helps in terms of having a family.
You were outed, you didn't come out yourself.
I was outed. Yeah, I'm
Most
out
of us
of
are
that
outed
closet.
first.
Ushaitolewa mahali by force. Like,
Yeah.
More
used
like
to
when
say-
your mother pushed you out, but this time you're being pulled out.
I actually nilikuwa nasema sitaambia mtu kwetu because my family is the typical fanatical religious
It is,
African
yeah.
family and wacha tu nifikishe hiyo statement hapo. And I really didn't want to come out of the closet. I would say mamangu kwa deathbed nitamwambia na Mungu akifanya ile kitu akose kufa apone. Nitaikana kama fisi na damu kwa mdomo. But because life doesn't always go how we want,
Yeah.
it fell under someone who thought it's their right to speak my story. And that actually hurts because they robbed me of me telling my story.
Yeah.
Far from that, I appreciate the fact that I had a few people I would turn to. And I had a support system. So I really hope they will get a support system and get friends
community.
around. Because the friends are also the ones who will embrace you after the heartbreaks and after the challenges we'll face and after the reoutings.
You
Because
need
you're
your
not outed
sponges,
once.
man.
Oh, you're not outed ones.
People who will absorb all your shit. You need sponges.
You need that 2 a.m. clock, 2 a.m. phone call to remind you that you're okay.
The day breaks.
Hey, my lord.
Yeah.
Let me go to the...
Please be 19.
Emails.
I swear, being
just be 19.
Have the fun.
19 is precious.
Wait.
When you meet people, I know some people meet the loves of their lives at 18, at 19, and they spend lives together.
Forever, yeah.
And that's a reality. If it hasn't happened, maybe it won't.
And don't rush it.
And even for the people it happens for, they're not looking for it, it just happens. So allow things to happen to you, especially good things.
Allow things to happen
take
to
it
you,
easy.
yes.
Yeah.
Serenade ni it. Ile yenye unao ukikunywa kahawa haraka usikiangi utamu yake.
Yeah.
Kunywange kahawa, so sijui.
Pole.
Ukikunywa juice.
Kahawa si chungu tu all the time.
Neka skari.
Kala ni gani? Brewed coffee is okay without sugar.
Kunywange coffee.
I don't like coffee.
Yeah. It's a Scorpio thing.
Okay, I don't like tea. I'm kind of allergic.
Makosa. You're kind of allergic to tea. Alafu the amount of caffeine in caffeine is where you are like, up and ndo iko juu.
It's allergic to tea, but
I am.
Really?
wale watu wakusema kunywange bia leta makali.
No, we understand. Makali is potatoes. Beer is barley.
Tuende kwa emails.
I
don't like how
we're supposed to Hey, the
I'm a
emails.
pride baby by the way.
You're a Pride Month baby. A gem.
Tuangalie watu wote walizaliwa June. No, I saw a meme that if someone was born in June, they're gay. So I'll do research.
They say that about Scorpios
I know
too.
about 15 people born in June.
You people are weird. You realize there's more than 15 people who were born in June and they're gay.
No, that's
there
it's
is
feeding
people-
into data. That's statistics, okay?
But so there is over 15% people who born in January and gay.
Look at all my friends.
and look at them.
Marafiki zangu.
Ile 95% yake tuangalie watu wa June.
95% yako watu wa June ni wengi kuliko the others. Because
That's not
the 15
true.
I'm counting are my friends.
That's not true. Actually, most of because I post my people and their birthdays, so I'm not gonna say anything.
Oh yeah, you clock the birthdays.
Just be quiet. It is what it is. Wacha kuone unachukua na zenye unaacha uache.
Our first email. Tulisema hii episode ni 1 hour. Shame.
Uliota.
This first email says, "Hello Olive, hope you're good. So about dating as a queer man, let me tell you, Maina, it's the ghetto for real. For starters, the amount of what's a DL gay?
Down low gay. The gay men who are not necessarily out of the closet, and they're caught up in the societal expectations thing where they have to marry and have children to put up a facade, but
Deep
wakiingia taa zikizimwa,
they forgot
they
they
become themselves.
They made it for themselves. Ile yenye haya kumbe naweza kuwa straight nikiangalia hii side ya kioo kuliko
Double life. So you're living.
ni hiyo 19-year-old yangu.
And a lot of gay men are down low.
Okay.
Sadly, not because they choose to, but because the society forces them into that situation. I, however, believe they have decisions to make, because I feel like it's one thing to be down low, it's another thing to find a person who you can honestly have this conversation, come up with an arrangement that probably fits both of you. Because I also feel it. I also know it's really hurtful if you're with a person who you think it's my man. And your man is not your man, your man. Yeah,
you're dating them, but they're not dating
there's
you.
a heart that comes
or
to
you're a
that.
hand of people saying my man.
Yes, and the repercussions of it is how we have now gay men who are affected by that, because the gay men would be with a man thinking it's my man too, but your man is another person's man. And your relationship has to be hidden because their relationship is what is accepted in
Your man has an wedding album somewhere and 3 kids.
But I think it's also happened for, I would say, in my small circles of queers, it's happened for women as well, where a friend was left by a woman who then went and got married, and you're just left in that.
It has happened.
It has happened.
That happens a lot. It's why
Let me sip my juice.
that's why there's
I was speaking for a lot.
that's why there's a lot of tension about bisexual women and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And yes, let me just say it here, for queer people, if you think you've been with a bisexual person, they leave you for a man, you're biphobic, period. That is literally not the same thing we're talking about here. What we are talking about here is people treat bisexual people as though they have options. So mtu anafikiria, if I dated you and you're bisexual and then we break up, or you leave me, or you cheat, because everyone cheats. It's not a bisexual thing to cheat. People just cheat. Cheaters cheat, that's all. Or you cheat with a man, the idea of it, people will interpret it as though you left me for a man. People will not honor the fact that you left me for another person. You cheated, yes. The wrong was cheating. The wrong wasn't who you cheated with. Also is when you find lesbians saying, oh, I'd rather you cheat me with a woman than a man. What do you mean? What do you mean?
But I think in this context, what I'm referring to is you being in a space, let's say you are openly queer, and you're in a space where you're building a dream where you're hoping even your partner will get to a point where they'll be open about it and you can share a life together. But for them, they cave in and they're just like,
there's
I need to be on the right side of society.
When it comes to coming out and being open, it depends who are you out to. Because there's someone who can be in the closet because of their job or because of their family or because
makes sense,
their grandmother you don't want to get a heart attack. However, to the important people, they're kind of out. And I think I can live with that. The fact that, okay, hajaambia boss wake, which makes sense. You both need to know who you're sleeping with. But around their circles of friends, people know, and you can go out and have a date together. So it really depends with why are they in this closet.
But they're dating you inside the house. We cannot be seen together outside. That's... but even for heteros, don't do that, please.
Again, date people who like you, people who like your friends, people who you can have honest conversations. Because I don't think it's difficult. If I was with Purple here and we are dating, and then Purple wants to leave because they're scared of this whole thing, I think being with me, there's a comfortability and a safety to have that conversation. Because for me, I wouldn't want to be with a person who doesn't want to be here now.
Yeah.
You want to date a person who is present, who is there with you, who wants to do a relationship with you. And if this person is having all these conflicts or these things that are making them feel like they can't go on with something, there's only two options out of it. To decide to stand with them even as they find out what that looks like, or to decide to end the relationship while probably still being supportive and all that kind of stuff. Because let me tell you, you straight people have made being queer so difficult when it shouldn't really be that difficult. So a lot of people, when a lot of people are having to go back and forth because of the things that are expected of them by the society, by their family, a lot of people are having to struggle. And so for me, the thing is, why can't you be honest? Because I think then the worst part is you can't be honest, so you go ahead and do something even worse than if you would have just sat and been honest about it.
Lakini dating someone who sits in the house, hatutaenda hata walk.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the other thing.
Hata kuangalia sunset hapo kwa
hata tendangi shopping. Nani afanyanga shopping hiyo nyumba? Mimi jumi ndo nakwanga.
Si unaenda peke yako.
Am I single or somebody?
You are single out there.
I don't mind the Netflix and chill vibe. Lakini imagine every time kwa nyumba. Kwani mimi ni mkora laona usiku.
Next, you can decide your date this time is Netflix and chill. But it's not always. You want date nights. You want supermarket runs.
Yeah.
You want market runs. You want to just walk. And I'm
I
not
want
saying
a walk.
And I'm not saying I'll be eating your lips out when we're out
not
there.
it's not exactly
and having
PDA. Yeah.
Ama kuangalia hiyo mo ilikuharibu mkono, acha tununue ingine.
But also, again, it comes down to you yourself. If someone is not even comfortable with themselves, they feel like if they're outside, everyone is shukuing them.
Kuna mlango by the way na kufunga na kufulia.
The door.
Nataka nimefunga kiiko. Na labda uko na yako, fungua hii mlango uende nani.
Tumalize email. Tulikuwa first sentence. Haya. I'll have to start. Hello, Liv. Hope y'all are good. So I guess even you guys are good. So about dating a queer man, let me tell you, dating as a queer man, let me tell you, Maina, it's the ghetto. For real, for starters, the amount of DL gay men is just fascinating. Okay, I'm not so into PDA, but like most men are really conscious about being seen with another man, walking, or just don't get... I just don't get it. Plus, guys have internalized homophobia. Men, like this time a guy told me, why are you so feminine? If I wanted someone who acts like a girl, I could have dated one. I really hate the toxic masculinity. Some gay men in the community, then... Where? I really hate akuna punctuation. I really hate the toxic masculinity some gay men have, I guess, in the community. Then as a gay man, I needed to heal from misinterpretation of a relationship. As I grew up, I just saw straight ones and I thought I wasn't normal. Plus, there's a lot of bottom shaming in the gay community. Okay, that I've seen personally. Plus, there's a lot of stigma when it comes to protection in sex. Plus, the church plays a really significant role in shaming us while some DL men are there. Plus, there should be... hakuna punctuation. Plus, there should be sex ed, like gay sex ed should be taught. Then I feel most queer people should go to therapy for the trauma we've gone through. From the homophobia in high school to church to homes, I just feel for queer people. To date, we need to go for therapy. Then could you talk about the right time for coming out? Sorry, the mail was chaotic. I had to compress a lot of information. Your podcasts are funny and therapeutic. Okay, thanks. Hey, punctuation. But I hope we've gotten the gist of it.
Apologize. So that's sad.
But I also feel like I may talk a lot about some of the things you've addressed.
Yeah.
Go to therapy.
Go to therapy.
Yeah, and
I
also,
will not insist enough. Go for therapy.
and I think I may touch about the main thing, dating someone who like you, because if I like you, I like how you dress, or how you behave outside. So kama niko na mtu na anashinda nikimuuliza mbona do you have to be this feminine, please? You shouldn't be in that relationship to start with. And yes, there'll be shaming of one thing or the other in the queer community, but I ideally think hufai kuwa na mtu anakushame.
Yeah.
It doesn't even sound right.
Also, and I think this is a very important thing to be said. Love is supposed to free people, not to cage them.
Love is supposed to
Love
be
frees
beautiful.
people. We are queer people. The idea around queerness is the freedom to be whoever that you are. All I need to do for myself as Mary Liz is come to terms, know who I like, come to terms to it, and love myself that way. Then when I meet people that I like, the idea of I want this person to be like this, like this, like this, so that I like more is weird. I meet Olive. I like Olive. The idea behind liking Olive is knowing Olive can be anything Olive wants to be in the world. My job is to always circle back to liking Olive regardless. My job is not to tell Olive, if you cut your hair, I don't like you anymore. Those people say it. Napenda watu wako na dread. If I cut my dreadlocks, you stop laughing at me. What do you mean?
That's true.
It doesn't make sense. People are obsessed with caging people. People are obsessed with molding people. And it's a very heteronormative culture where men are told, let a jiko.
Why are you laughing?
Because like, how is a whole human being a jiko? And then you're going to kill someone's daughter with coolies and heat and all this kind of stuff. And they somehow...
Alikufia carbon
and men
monoxide.
say it, even the modern man says it always, you're not wife material. What does that even mean? Ni mita ngapi unataka na inanunuliwa wapi?
And I also think for this particular person,
Yeah.
maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but if you worked on yourself and you loved yourself,
Yes.
you wouldn't be dating. They're
person
called
who
down
questions
low
hair,
guys.
dress, yeah.
Like, you didn't have to
Be a second
to
option.
cage yourself
Yes.
in something just because you love this person, and when they're out there they have to look and present as heterosexual and then come to you on those days when they need.
And then someone who has internalized homophobia deep down, that is someone who has too much pain, someone who has not loved themselves enough.
Yes.
And
And it's easy for them to even hate you if they don't hate themselves. So that's why they feel like you should dress a certain type of way, because like,
that's what
okay,
I'm
fine.
thinking.
If you wanted a woman, okay, then if you can date one, then go find one. Leave me alone.
This is someone who has too much hate hapa ndani. Hata ukimwambia peana upendo haiko.
You can't give what you don't have.
So I feel like that is not someone who you need to be with.
And it cuts across. It's not that only men do it, women do it. In my previous relationship, that happened a lot. People who want to tone police how you look, how you dress, the
What
things
you
you
do.
do, how you carry yourself. Dude, I didn't come here to be your man.
Yeah.
I'm the they-thems of this society. I can be anything that I want. Yeah? Please.
Okay, actually, I was watching the movie Glamorous on Netflix. It's called already. And what I think hurt me most about the main character is how the man he was dating at the time was very keen to, like, oh, we are going out. Yes, I really, really like you, but must you wear a crop top? Like, I really, really like you, but we can't go meet my people while you have, like,
I think I watched it or not. I'll go look again.
the makeup artists.
I'm not remembering.
Anyway,
I'm not
Nita,
good at
I'll even send it
remembering
to you after. But it was really nice. Another email. Hey, Olive, it's been a minute, more like an hour, but we are back. I'd like to air in my opinion on this week's topic. Also, hide ID. Yes, I am gay, in brackets, closeted, by choice. Was bi and I didn't like it. I have been in a couple of relationships with other guys, and let me tell you, Maina, dudes in their
like
40s.
Maina.
I was bi and I didn't like it.
Yeah, he's just bi and I didn't like it.
So the idea of dating women wasn't sitting well with him. Essentially,
Yeah,
that's
I
what
guess
he
you can be
was.
bi and then you lean more towards.
No, also, again,
discovering
sexuality is
yourself
a
is
journey.
Yeah.
Because I feel like being bi is always a safe choice for most people. It's like you want to give your people a safe landing. Okay, I just said I'm bi. I could be with a woman or a man, depending on what they want you to be.
And also the fact that you're discovering yourself.
Yes.
Like that. Sexuality is very fluid.
Yes.
So
So
you can wake up today and you're attracted to someone very different with what you're
And
attracted
then
to
you're-
them, and that's okay.
also, a lot of people feel I'm a lesbian. If I've dated men before, a lot of people feel like they can't erase that. So they'd rather say bi because they don't want to invalidate that. People don't know you can still be a lesbian without invalidating those relationships.
Yeah.
I had relationships with these people. They didn't feed into anything that I was looking for in a relationship until when I dated a woman or when I started dating women is when I realized this is who I really am. Those relationships are not invalid. My sexuality is not valid. My identity is not invalid. Everything is valid. All truths are existing all at once. Yeah.
I found myself having an admiration for, I don't know, I've forgotten that name. Are they called Rainbow? The people who've never, like, they found out they were queer very early in life, and so they've never got, they don't have a past where they experimented with, like, the...
I don't have a past where I experimented. That's saying.
I was just happy. I was just like, can you imagine? I think a lot of, because I wouldn't say I've had the queer experience, but a lot of things in my life really boxed me. And I'm imagining the liberation I got when I finally stepped out of it. And I'm just like, kuna mtu ali experience as a teenager, they could be themselves. At home, they could be themselves. They showed up in spaces as themselves.
Okay,
that was like,
I think for me, when I hear that, it's always, damn. But also the realization, safety is actually a thing. And people have grown up in safe environments and they've been protected and shielded from some experiences that would otherwise take away from experiences that they can choose for themselves.
And also knowing yourself early. Imagine
sometimes it doesn't even necessarily have to come from, because I know people who are very late bloomers with regards to their sexuality, but also prior to that, they had no desire whatsoever to try anything else. And then the first trial was, I'm now 20, I tried the first time I tried, I kissed a girl and I knew I'm not gonna go back. I didn't need to kiss any man to know I don't like men. I just needed to kiss a girl to know I like women.
The gold stars, I find them very...
So it happens differently for many people.
Yes, okay, yeah.
I know a lot of actually older queer women who ni wale hata familia zao zimewasema we gave up on that one, and it's because they've never had an experience with a man ever before. The boys they ever brought home were their BFFs.
Makes sense.
The most they did is hold hands to prove that our baby has something going for them.
Makes sense. Higher.
I dated 40-something-year-old man.
I have been in a couple of relationships with other guys. Story. Tunaendelea kusoma. I have been in a couple of relationships with other guys, and let me tell you, Maina, dudes in their 40s and 30s with wives and kids in this space are a lot. Skeleton emoji. Although that's another day's topic. Yes, love in this space is real and not at the same time. Reason being, everyone I have met wants to sleep with each other, but those who are past sleeping around and in settled relationships, yes, you'd easily move out to your partner's house. I got my partner flowers a while ago. Dude was over the moon saying how his wife has never gotten him a present. Being seen and understood is why men leave their straight relationships in order to express themselves. I think society sees us as retards, the homophobic people, that is. But in the LGBTQ community, we are heard and understood. That's what I like, because in all honesty, stay on brand, we get to become who we are. So if you are past sleeping around, then yes, there's true love out there. Thank you.
Nasikia nimpigie makofi.
But also, me kitu yenye nimefanya nikakumbuka ni unaona vitu simple like acts of kindness. Isn't it very easy for women to feel like I don't have to do anything for my man? He's a man. But you see, a man is being bought flowers and he's rejoicing over the fact. And maybe if you ask that man, he has bought flowers and he has never received even a single rose.
Mpaka Father's Day.
Exactly.
That's a struggle I had when a lot of this femininity content was being pushed down our throats. Don't spend money on men.
Yeah.
For me, when I date my people, I gift my people. Me, if you're my man, you'll get a fully paid vacation. I mean, it's not a problem if money is there.
Because if I'm going and I want to go with you, why not?
No, even if you want to go, Father's Day, nikulipia wende. Yes, go. As in me,
now of Father's Day, probably out of zero experience.
Me, if I love you, I give, and I'll do things that I like to be done for me. So this idea of men are not supposed to receive this kind of sensitive, or rather this kind of, what is it called? tenderness. There's some tenderness that men don't receive because we just assume they're supposed to be out there fighting wars. It doesn't make sense to me, but anywho's.
Most of the time it doesn't. And to hear this whole experience, it's like
moja ingine ni kama emails 5, but let's go.
Ni moja but ni kama 5.
Ndio.
We are ready. Aki huyo ako na trauma.
Labda ako ina healthy anaongea
alimaliza na love huko chini ya kuconvince it shall be well. Wewe umeona emojis huko juu?
Juu hakuna emoji.
We are flowers. I hope that relationship lasts. And I sound like ako ina happy.
But the partner has a wife. I don't know how to navigate. Anyway.
And please, kama una watch, of course ulisema unapenda hii podcast. I know that the dream and the vision of it can sound and look so good that you want to stay for it. But I think that dream can be good and still might not be worth it because it might never come true. Because the thing about people and society, and especially for down low people, I'm using down low people loosely here, for down low people, is that this is a person who is still struggling with people pleasing, with wanting to do things according to certain standards and all that kind of stuff.
Chances are hata yacho
baby. And even if atawacha, you may never know when that will happen because habits are difficult to break. Not just as long as 21 days, no, habits are very difficult to break. Especially when it's habits that are fed by expectations.
Yeah.
But if you're happy with the half cake.
Yeah. If you're happy with the half cake,
It
is.
It's not disagree.
It's a quarter cake, yes, it's a quarter cake. If you're happy where you are, jibambe.
Be happy. But manage your expectations. Well.
Yeah, true.
Manage your expectations. Okay, the last email, longest of it all. Hi, dearest gentle reader. Love it. I apologize for the late response. It is my hope that I will be considered nonetheless. Yes, this email got in today in the morning. Okay. I met this guy while I was a fresher in uni. He happened to be a master's student who would hang around school sometimes. We met on Grindr. It's like Tinder, but exclusively for gay people. Ulidhani sitajua, your partner ajua. I was still naive to think that one can find a genuine partner on a dating app in Nairobi in capital and exclamation mark. So talking stage was pretty much okay until we talked about previous relationships. He ended his narrative with, huyo wa mwisho hatujaachana, but tutawachana soon. He still lives at my place, but tukiwachana ataenda. Did I mention this guy is Luo? Munachafua kote kote. Of course, I was opposed to the idea of being his side guy. I even tried to get him to break up with his boyfriend, but he always gave lame excuses. Ati the memories are too much. He has separation anxiety. He doesn't trust me. Ati he might leave his boyfriend only for me to leave him. Sometimes I think I was bewitched because right now I wouldn't take that shit, but we move regardless. So we got into a relationship, but it wasn't a smooth ride. This guy was very demanding, yet I had school and life outside him. He would be so jealous if he saw me talking to any other guy. I guess this is the reason I did not tell him that I'd be going to a friend's hangout one Sunday afternoon. He ended up breaking up with me. Kwanza, he gaslit me juu the hangout was for some Christian community I was part of in uni. He said that we label it as such, then we meet up for orgies and stuff. I felt so humiliated. Also, during the time we were dating, sex was a bit painful, so I'd always have reservations whenever we would get intimate. The guy, instead of comforting me, would ridicule me about it and then say that I do not love him because I kept denying him sex. He'd then say he was kidding when I confronted him about it. So anyway, we broke up and life continued for a while. On my birthday last year, he sent me his wishes. To return the favor, I sent him my wishes on his birthday this year. He took the opportunity to come back. He came back bearing the old line, I still love you. Mind you, he's still cohabiting with the guy from years back. And in between, he told me all other people he has been with. Luo men. Exclamation. So he kept asking me for sex, but I'd always say no because I cannot be his side dude anymore. He'd suggest that we become just fuck buddies. The audacity. Audacity has been spelled with HOE. Anyway.
That's the audacity we like referring to.
Anyway, I kept saying no. He'd call me at 1 a.m. trying to talk me into it. He would try to manipulate me, saying that I hate him. His mom would be so mad at me because I'm making her son sad. I do not appreciate people who love me and do not appreciate people who love me. etc. I did the only thing I knew would keep him away. I told him I met someone else. We haven't spoken since. I have been in a couple of relationships, some before and a few after this particular one, but this one stands out probably due to all the emotional baggage it came with. For the rest, we break up maybe because I find chats with someone else. The spark isn't there anymore, such reasons. I'm not a saint either. I've had my fair share of faults in failing relationships. I wish to send a message to any queer person out there. Number 1, if you are into a serious relationship, do not settle for someone who isn't. We aren't few. You'll meet a like-minded person. Number 2, if you're part of the hookup culture and you uphold it, do not lie to those who are not for it, claiming to love them. Then after the sex, you leave. You should also find like-minded people. Number 3, and last, love is love. Do not try to change for you. Do not try to change for you to fit in. It only makes you miserable. All with love from yours queerfully. Love hearts.
I love that we concluded with this one.
Yes,
It's a good conclusion.
it's very wholesome.
We're low men. I wouldn't
Leo wenu wamesema tutatambariza queer or not, eh?
I think somehow the biggest theme here has been, please don't settle.
Do
Yeah,
not settle.
sure.
You're not few.
know your value.
Look at yourself as a person who deserves everything good in a
Yeah.
relationship. The things you say, if you can imagine it, then it's real. It exists.
It does.
The reason you imagine it is because you can either do it for someone or it has been done for you. And that in itself is evidence that it can happen for you.
Yeah.
And yes, you're allowed to say, you know what, I'm looking for this, but I just want to have sex with this person. You're allowed to also have those experiences. Everyone is allowed those experiences. But please don't settle.
Yeah.
The only
true.
person you should settle for is yourself. You are allowed to say, you know, mimi najichoose hivi, na choose hivi. But if you're doing it for other people, please don't.
Yeah.
I swear,
That's
you're
true.
too single.
And I tell people that a lot. I tell
Yeah.
people, if someone like me exists, there must be a male version of me that exists somewhere.
Yeah, true.
Because if I say I want this and this, and the things I ask for are things I'm offering. So if me, I exist with these values, these wants, this type of character, there must be someone else out there. And even if I'll never get to meet them, that is also fine. I find fulfillment in being
Knowing that
myself.
you
Yeah.
exist in your own true self.
Yeah.
And find joy in what you're doing, because if you're not comfortable in your own space as you are, bringing someone in and trying to have a relationship from that, it really won't work. If I'm comfortable in my own space and comfortable with who I am and I'm loving who I am at this moment,
Yeah.
falling into a relationship will be beautiful. And if you're not, something very small will trigger you. Na kutoka hapo itakuwa helter skelter. So yeah, find joy in what you're doing.
Enjoying what you're doing. And with 5 minutes to go, hey, congratulations. Hebu tupigie makofi Biubwa. Thank you so much.
Nilikuwa niwaambie mwanzo weekend poa, lakini everyone is going somewhere to a meeting, so good luck.
Mimi, I just want to say,
Yeah.
after all is said and done and all those things we've talked about, those are the honest, true experiences of queer people. They're not unique, but also specified to all queer people.
Yeah.
They vary from person to person.
Yeah.
But being queer is a beautiful thing.
It is.
And straight people, mnatupea stress sana. You're missing out on the awesomeness we come with. And I think the last couple of days have been very difficult because if you know me, In the history of me going to protest, I've never gone to a protest without my flag.
True.
But they people have been coming and, people are fighting important things and you're going there with your flag. I always go with my flag because guess what? Let me tell you, the custodians of human rights and fight for human rights is queer people. You people might not want to agree. Feminists will look at me and shake their heads. Human rights activists will look at me, and especially homophobes, they look at me and shake their heads. But truth is, the fight for our lives was started by queer people. While all of us were facing oppressions, queer people were facing even more oppressions and killings. And they decided to come out and fight. And when they started to fight, they never fought just for themselves. They fought for everyone who needed to be fought for. And so today, when I'm going to the streets to protest against finance bill and someone asks me, what does it have to do with LGBTQ? It has everything to do with LGBTQ people. We are being co-opted in the world of work. We are being co-opted in our social lives. We are being co-opted everywhere. And so when there's a bill that imposes taxes on everything, we get the shorter end of the stick. Not only can we not live as ourselves, we can't be ourselves, we can't even afford meals, we are already going homeless and all that kind of stuff. What is it going to look like? So the reason I was on the streets with my flag, and I will always be on the streets with my flag, is because I want to remind you, fuckers, that queer people belong here. We belong here. We don't need you to tell us we have a right here. We belong here, and we'll fight for Kenya because it's our country, we love it, and we'll fight for ourselves. And we'll always remind you that we exist, whether you like it or not. Thank you and happy Pride Month.
May the church say.
Amen. Happy Pride Month. As we conclude the last week, I hope everyone will find pride in everything they are doing.
Thank you so much.
Love is love.
It sure is.
Love is love.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much, ladies, for coming. I am super, 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 super grateful. The space is usually for other people to see you don't exist in a vacuum. Your experiences are not unique to yourself. There's a community out there. There's someone out there who has the experiences that you have. And I feel this validates a lot of queer people, especially young people, because a lot of people watch and they just find some sort of guidance and solace here. So I am super grateful. And that brings us to the end of another episode of the In All Honesty podcast. My fabulous name is OLAVEORAWO, and until next week, bye.
Doodles.
Next on the In All Honesty podcast.
We've talked about love. Now let's talk about sex. What does sex look like in the different generations? How has your view on sex evolved over time? I was talking to a couple of girls in the 30s and they said the libido is raging as the older you get. And I think that was new information that I did not have. So I just like to know, let's see what sex looks like. I hope I can get a Gen Z. I hope I can get men who can come on and tell us how sex has evolved. I feel like earlier on, sex is huge. It drives you to do a lot of things. But later on, maybe it's something that you used to even negotiate. So let's talk about sex in our next episode. And you can always talk to me. Send in your opinions, your experiences, how your view on sex has grown over time, your experiences with sex, please, because I know there are people who maybe went from asexual to being hypersexual to being asexual, the entire spectrum. So talk to me. You can always reach me through my DMs at OLAVEORAWO or through my email at olaveorawo@gmail.com.
Do you hear that? Would you lend me some coins, please? The In All Honesty podcast needs you to continue running. I will deeply appreciate support from you. You can send monetary contributions to my Mpesa +254 728 171 059 via PayPal at OLAVEORAWO. That is OLAVEORAWO. You can support the podcast indirectly by buying merchandise and services I offer listed on my WhatsApp catalog. My WhatsApp number is +254 728 171 059. Did you think I'd forget? Advertise with the In All Honesty podcast. Hit me up to talk about it. You can do that via WhatsApp +254 728 171 059 or via email olaveorawo@gmail.com, or you can also DM me on socials at OLAVEORAWO. You know, the hand that gives will receive an episode every week. I'm not where I want to be.
but I'm in what was once a dream. So if I do some quick math, the future equals a dream come true. Since 1992, In All Honesty, a podcast by OLAVEORAWO.